Oh, are we early?
We're early, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to the imho.love show. I don't know whether to wait another 2 minutes and start over, or we'll just go now. All right. Here we are.
Well, I'll give you 2 minutes to get in your seat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
Pretend we're playing Smoke on the Water or something, so you can go get yourself something to drink. All right, sit back and relax. I'll just do some housekeeping right up front. Make it seem so if we did start a minute or so early. Don't want anybody to trip up, man. Don't drop the soap now. Welcome to the imho.love show. I'm Lou Angelwolf. That's Mike Murburg, and here we are at Area 52 out here in beautiful Darby Ranch, and we're up in the studio. And life is okay today. We record the show on Facebook Live, and then it gets transferred to YouTube, BitChute, the imho.love homepage, and it also is podcast on Podbean. So lots of different ways to get it, lots of different ways to move it around. I'm opening up accounts on Rumble and Telegram. So it'll be on those formats as well. We may switch to the initial issuing format to one of those as well. You can use as well as often as you can. Welcome to the show, folks. It's the 15th of September, 2021. Like we say, it's been a hell of a year. Everything seems to change. There's this wonderful dulling of reality that we're all experiencing right now. I use wonderful in quotes, so I don't know how wonderful it is, but there's definitely a dulling of our reality. Things are not the same as they were a year ago or even a year and a half ago, and especially 2 years ago. So welcome to a different world. I'm not going to say the NEW word, but it's a different world, because I think there's still some remnants of what needs to be still can possibly be done. Well, like I said, welcome to the show, folks. Like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want with this content. We welcome you. We thank you so much for all the years you've watched, and we're heartfelt, all of our people that watch every week, and we love you a bunch, and thank you so much for that. My cool new shirt is from Studio Grand Central, which is Ward Smith's beautiful little theater down there on Central Avenue in St. Petersburg. I was just talking to Mike prior to coming on. We're going to do a spoken word poetry night or event there soon, maybe the middle of October. How long are you up north?
Only a full week, 8 days.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll do it the next week then. Okay. Mike, of course, is a writer and a poet. I myself am a writer and a poet. And so we're going to go read our stuff, man, down at the Studio Grand Central. It's go studiograndcentral.com. They got plays coming up. It's a wonderful little space. It's just getting started. It's all completely remodeled, all clean and spotless and nice. So Studio Grand Central, beautiful place. Anyway, welcome to the show, folks. And the title of this show is From the Balcony. And I'm sure all of us have been to a theater or something at some sort of, at one time, maybe a sporting event where you're at a balcony seat, or a rock concert where you had the balcony seats. Actually, the Capitol Theater, if you go to the rock concerts there, their balcony seating is tremendous. You really can see. I saw Adrian Ballou there that way, and couple other bands that were just having that balcony seat was just awesome. And from the balcony, the reason we're taking this perspective is, from the balcony, you can see everything that's going on the floor. Everything that's at the lower level, we'll just put it that way. And if you've been watching our show and sharing our show and listening to our show long enough, you'll kind of notice that we've been trying to elevate ourselves up a little bit, trying to rise above the din, which is one of my favorite phrases. And we're trying to make sense of what we're experiencing right now. And when you have that omniscient point of view, it's easier for you to sort things out. What was the Buddhist quote on that? The one you said?
Oh, yeah, to be an objective observer of a subjective phenomenon.
To be an objective observer
of subjective phenomenon.
Of subjective phenomenon. Wow. Can you speak up a little bit, Mike?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, no problem. And be an objective observer of a subjective phenomenon, which is what we're experiencing right now, especially if you follow any sort of media. The funny thing that I notice is everybody gets there's arguments from every little damn thing to really big arguments. And the thing that I'm noticing mostly is just the persistence of the manipulation. It just seems to be it's endless. It does not the mind bending does not stop at all.
Yeah.
You know? And so if you're confused and you're spinning around, and a lot of people are, and it's okay. You're cool. Don't worry about it. It's the way they designed it. And people a lot smarter than us designed it. But we've been very blessed to be able to see through some of the veils. And we also know the objectives of some of these actions. And they are quite suspicious. But being able to...
They're also obviously quite sinister as well.
Oh, sinister there's no doubt about it. And this really is it is that showdown of good and evil. It is that that reality that there are two different kinds of people. Well, there's billions of different kinds of people, but there's two general mindsets. And I know we all have every spectrum of emotion within us. You know, we have the ability to nurture a dandelion back to health, and we also have the ability to execute someone else to guard our own lives. We're all in that spectrum of emotion. A lot of people say they're not, but you don't know because you may not have had to experience those levels of coercion and manipulation yet. So, but we're trying to stay on the good foot all the time. You know, we notice that there's stuff awry, but we also know we've been blessed enough in our lives to spend enough time back in the good old days. How absolutely wonderful the 70s, 80s, and 90s were. Do you remember, Mike?
Well, I remember the 70s. The 80s and 90s were a different bag for me. I had...
you were in the middle of your practice then.
No, I was still a prosecutor and raising family and putting a wife through college, so there wasn't much I remember or want to remember other than the couple of TV shows, but other than that...
Well, you said before the show we were talking about having the correct time to do things, or when your energy is at a correct level to prosecute, or not prosecute, you just said prosecute, to carry out your your chores, your duties, your things.
Right, it's all a function of energy, and you don't do things when you don't have the energy, and you do things when you do have the energy. If you don't have the energy, you can't do things right. And if you have the energy, then you always succeed. So, you know.
Right.
It's all, and as you get older, you start understanding that it's so important to, monitor your levels of energy, because you're going to be able to get stuff done, and you're not going to be able to get stuff done. You become very aware of that.
Yes.
On a daily basis. Whereas, when you're younger, you can continue to abuse yourself and use up your energies when your batteries are depleted, and don't properly recharge them.
Yes.
And you don't take care of yourself, and eventually in life you end up with any number of ailments and diseases, and then you have to work on getting them cleared up. So
you're exactly right, because everything is a vibration. Everything creates a frequency. Okay, and Suzette and I were talking the other day about how when your energy is down, okay, and you're tired. Yesterday afternoon, I hit a wall of tired that I had not felt since the end of a long road trip. I mean, it was like 3 weeks on the road tired in one day. Mm-hmm. It turned about 4:30 in the afternoon, and I felt like I was dragging an anchor with me the rest of the day. I drove straight home, and in my, I hardly listen to my radio or my stereo or whatever in my vehicle. I don't want to trade their thoughts. I know all the songs on the radio anyway, especially the stations I'll listen to. So I don't really necessarily need to be reminded of More Than a Feeling by Boston. But
hear Muskrat Love just one time.
Muskrat Love. Yeah,
Gonna kill some rats.
Yeah, we got a rat issue. So not keep, and I just do it for just my basic balance. It re-energizes me to listen to nothing. And as tired as I was, I didn't want to be distracted by anything else. I just wanted to get home. I'm telling you, I came home, kicked off my shoes, got naked, and jumped right in bed. And I slept for a solid hour without a blink. And then I got up and we made some dinner, and Scott was there, and so that preservation of your energy and doing things when you have the proper energy, I totally see that making sense. Okay, especially when you're trying to figure things out in your life, especially like personal effects and stuff like that. Do take that time to spend by yourself to sort out what it is that you're trying to think about, because within your silence you will find the truth. Isolate yourself away from influences and words and ideas and all that stuff, so you can make up your mind clearly. And I'll also tell you, if I look back on my life and realize many of the times that I got hurt or broke something, or a project failed, or a bad argument broke out, or whatever, a lot of it had to do with the fact that I was tired when I started. I should have been sleeping, resting, but not in the situation that I was in.
Yeah, that becomes patently evident when you hear the guardrail scraping against your front quarter panel.
Yeah, exactly. It's a wake up. So, I've almost been there. One time I'm coming out of Lexington, Kentucky. It's winter time, and I'm trying to make it home. I just finished up the Sunday night show. I'm zooming along, and as you know, if you've driven that stretch of I-75 south, you're on a decline most of the way. And I'm coming into a little town called London, Kentucky. Mm-hmm. And
I've actually been there. That's Eastern Kentucky.
It is, yeah. If you take a left on that one main lower road, you'll wind up in Hazard and all that stuff.
Yeah, you know what the biggest crops are out there?
Weed?
Yeah, coal and weed.
Coal and weed.
Coal and weed, yeah.
Coal and weed. Sounds like a MTV DJ. Hello, I'm Colin Weed.
Colin Weed.
Anyway, coming down I-75, I'm driving my Chevy Caprice, big road car, and I'm really tired. And I knew I should probably rest, but I don't want to spend the money on a hotel, and I want to, I'm okay, right? So I stopped and got a cup of coffee, and I don't know if you guys know this or not. Caffeine works up to a point, and then it actually has a reversal effect. That one more cup of coffee will put you right to sleep, and you don't know which one it is, so you never know. So you say, okay, I'll have 3 cups of coffee and we'll rock all night. Yeah, you may have 2 cups of coffee, but that third one's going to put you down like a sick dog. So anyway, I'm tired, and I'm going along, and it's wintertime, and there's black ice on the road, and all of a sudden, I'm in my Caprice, and the car it hydroplanes, and then it does a complete 360. I'm watching, and I'm done. The mountain, the town is down here. The side of the mountain is right here, and I just watched the whole thing go by. Next thing I know, I'm looking at headlights, looking at me. Then I'm looking at the mountain, and then I'm looking back at the direction that I started, southbound. And somehow, the tires catch traction, and my car goes, woo! And I'm back on the road. My tires have a grip. I did a complete 360 at 2 o'clock in the morning after and my fresh cup of coffee went all over the place. But I got down to the bottom of that hill, and I found the closest hotel room in London, Kentucky that night. That was me going, it's time to sleep. You should sleep. What's the advantage? And I also have this other thing. When I do all-night road trips, I get dog-ass tired as soon as the sun comes up. It's like I see the sun, and it's like, I'm ready for, how did I miss sleep? Yeah. So.
Yeah, every hour of sleep you get before midnight is worth 2 after.
Every hour of sleep you get before midnight is worth 2 after. So if you got no sleep before midnight...
Yeah, you're screwed.
That's what was the problem. How come I didn't know you then? Anyway...
well, the good Lord saved you for this.
Again and again and again and again. So, but the other thing that this view from the balcony will afford you, if you watch the media and you watch the way they present their information, just know that you can, from the balcony, you can see the fix is in. You can almost say, okay, now there's an action over there. The Republicans are going to act like this. The Democrats are going to act like this. The Independents are going to act like this. The Gay and Lesbian Coalition is going to act like this. BLM is going to act like that. And it literally, it is from a central orchestration. They all have the same boss. They do. I can't tell you exactly who it is, but because they're good at hiding that. But what we're saying is, don't take any of this stuff too personally. Do your best to rise above it and try to watch from the balcony. Because anytime any instance comes up, I mean, especially like the Afghanistan situation of the last few weeks, there's a dozen ways to look at it, and they're presented to you constantly. These guys are saying that. These guys are saying that. These people are saying this. This group's saying this. All trying to chirp out some kind of opinion that you'll agree with. And once you reach a level of agreement with a news quip or a blurb or whatever, then it's almost like mission accomplished for them. Now, in the manipulation of people, which has been happening thousands and thousands of years, but now it's the most high-tech. I mean, they literally know everything about everything. Like I typed in the word, like we were talking about old colognes the other day. And I remember I used to like Aquavelva, right? And like the next day, I get a prompting from a drugs company, Walgreens or CVS or one of them, telling me that Aquavelva aftershave is on sale. Hadn't said the word Aquavelva in 20 years or thought about it. So I know I'm being observed. I have the passive-aggressive Facebook thing.
We're all being listened to.
Yes.
A couple years ago, 3 years ago, I was talking to somebody in the house, and we didn't have our phones on. We had phones on, but we weren't using them. You know, they were like on. They're in their kind of remote position, wherever they are. And I was talking about getting some Zebu cattle.
Yes.
You know, didn't type it in, didn't do anything. You know, and within the next 2 days, I had ads on my telephone for Zebu cattle in the area.
Wow.
Yeah, they're listening, and they got you.
So really, I mean, you do have to. You got to watch what you say,
or not care,
or not care, or have a really big arsenal.
Well,
yeah, you don't. But here's the thing: is we really don't know where this is going to wind up. But any intelligent person creates a scenario in their mind. If this goes this way, we'll do this. If this goes that way, we'll do that. And if it goes this particular way, we'll do this particular thing. And you do have to create a worst case scenario in your head. You're not a very good decision maker if you don't create a worst case scenario as well. We all hope for, puppy dog kisses and lollipops. I'll drive that choo-choo train. Okay, I want it all to be puppy dog kisses and lollipops. I want us to lay down our hate and empty our hearts of malcontent and find joy and happiness and peace within ourselves and realize that we are all one thing and that humanity is to be loved and embraced because it's an absolute wonder. Every little cell in your body, every little thought in your mind, every beat of your heart, every pulse that runs through your veins is an absolute wonder. And it's all happening harmoniously and simultaneously across this whole planet. And you would have to think something so wonderful, why would it not want to join together? It does want to join together. But there are certain groups of people and property controllers and fund people and money monetizers that don't want you to bask in the glory of the simplicity of the oneness that is all things. They want you separated. They want you feeling an individual. They want you unique. They feed your ego. You're the special one. You're the one that got the special edition. You got the limited cut. You're special. You're better than other people because you have these material things. I ran that path a long, long time. And I really did believe it for a long time. Until I really realized that you never really find happiness in a thing. There's slight bursts of joy. I've been a Florida guy a long time. I'm a gearhead. I got friends and buddies with boats and classic cars and hot rods and dragsters and, antiques and all this stuff. And when we sit and have a cup of coffee together, they bitch and moan about the same things that I might or could, but I don't, but I could. So in other words, all those possessions, although they might be nice and they're securing some sort of funding in your fiat currency, it didn't make them happy. It did not bring the happiness that they anticipated, I don't think. It may bring you bursts of joy or those kind of things, my buddy's got a speedboat that's just wild ass, 2 big block Chevys on it, and it's like, hang on. Crazy piece. But I don't know how happy he is. I know he doesn't like putting $600 a day in that boat for fuel, but it's got 2 big block Chevys. 2. 1 not fast enough. 2. We need 2.
Yeah, well, you know,
Eat-
you keep on needing a higher and higher bump to get the same serotonin levels that you had with lesser possessions.
Yeah, that's what it is, huh?
Yeah, that's what it
it's
is.
a serotonin thing, isn't
Yeah,
it?
same thing with cocaine.
Cocaine?
Yep.
I finally quit doing cocaine one day, Mike. I got my teeth down to the size I wanted them. Thank you, Mitchell Walters. Cocaine. You know what's funny about cocaine? I mean, I took the fool's path for the longest time, and you know, I was been up for a couple days sometimes, but the one drug that when I quit doing it, I just stopped. I just, you know, I wasn't addicted to it. It was just I was hanging around a particular group of people that that was their treat, that was their thing, and oftentimes I was invited over because I'm a funny guy, and it was the one thing that when I stopped doing it, it was just it was a long weekend. I'd made like a bonus check, so I bought extra. I chipped in, and I remember like 7 o'clock in the morning after being up on the second day, 7 o'clock in the morning of the second day, I'm laying in bed and I'm watching my heart go pump in and out of my chest, and I had a come to Jesus meeting at that point. I said, you get me through this, man. I'll never bother with that shit again. And I didn't. About 10, that was many years ago. About 10 years ago, I'm at a party, and the little mirror comes by, and I was feeling a little frisky. I was by myself. Didn't matter what I did. I took one up each beak, and I just passed it on. And then when it came back around again, I just passed it on. They went, oh, you can have more than one. I go, I know. I said, but I'm a little older, a little wiser now. I've traveled a few roads. And of all my cocaine experiences, I have found that the best line of cocaine is the first line of cocaine. And they go,
Same thing with pot.
Yeah.
So once you're stoned, how much more stoned can you get? It's like being wet. Once you're soaking wet, how much more of a shower do you still need?
I'll put an asterisk next to the pot thing, but it was really interesting, and the plate came by, the mirror, whatever it was, came by a couple of times, and I handed it off every time, and a couple of people just sat there in absolute awe.
Yeah.
You know, that I didn't have to hit it again, and I told them, I said, I've already done the best line I can do. The first line, I got all the elation, I got all the little clarity. I said, from here on out, it's downhill. And to get back to what you were saying about the pot's nice, and I love pot. It's a friend of mine. But you did say, how stoned can you get? This new pot that's coming out of these dispensaries and all these grow houses and all that stuff, the potency is off the charts.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it'll put you right into like a death march. I mean, all you want to do is stop being high. You know, I don't know if edibles will do that to you if you're not used to them.
Yeah, they got some high-test stuff going on out there.
Yeah, I mean, I've read several accounts where people thought they were dying, and and it's happened to me. It's called greening out. It's happened to me a couple of times, and it doesn't happen to me anymore because I know my limits now. I found my one-line limit with pot, and I haven't touched coke in 10 years, 9 years. Anyway, the devil's dandruff. But the weed, this new strain of weed, and if I just smoke it, like the way I do it, okay? But if I try to like do like the crowd's doing, like, you know, like everybody's taking big tugs and all that stuff, I take like kind of like girl tugs. You know, I'll hold it a little bit, and I can do this cool thing and blow it out my nose and make it like a bowl, you know, all that stuff. But a couple of tugs and I'm done. I just let it be, because greening out stops everything else you were going to do that day. You just have to sit there and wait till it's over.
Yeah.
And you don't know when it's going to be over. One time I don't know why I'm telling on myself like this.
It's not like they didn't suspect. You know, you're confirming other people's suspicions, and it's okay.
At Angelwolf, well, I've been in the entertainment industry a lot of years,
Yeah.
and I've partied with some people. But the one that I remember, I did a show at this big country club down in Fort Myers several years ago, and big fun thing, and it was a comedy show and a jazz show, and we warmed up for this like 8-piece jazz combo, and they were badass, man. They had 2 guitars and bass players and a brass section and an unchained drummer. Man, they were cool. They were fun. And we all had our rooms, the entertainers' rooms were all blocked in the same room, and it was an older style Florida hotel they put us up in. So you had an outdoor balcony that ran up and down the length of the building. And these guys were out there, and they bring them big, fat blunts out there, man. They're just big, giant doobies, like this big around. And they hand it, and I take a great big tug, and I pull it all the way down to my toes, and then I blow it out. And I did that like 4 or 5 times. And I was comfortably numb. Then the looming death started to come along. And it's this really horrible, empty feeling. I was only a room away. The party was a room in the next room over from me, and I got up. I made it into my room. I took my pants off. I took my shoes off, 1 sock, but I still had on a dress shirt and a tie, and I have no idea where I'm at. I knew where I was, but.
Well, at least people weren't commenting on what a great job you did on the donkey show. Finding a roll of quarters up your ass.
I missed that part. But anyway, I was totally lost. I go, you know what? I think I might get sick. So let me go in the bathroom where if I do get sick, at least it'll be an easier cleanup. Because my head's spinning, I'm queasy, and I'm unsettled, and I just don't like it. So I go, well, I can vomit in the tub, or here's the sink over here. I'll hit some surface. Okay. So, all of a sudden, I sit there on the john, and all of a sudden, everything just goes black. I totally black out, and I don't know how long I was down there. I don't know if I was laying on the floor for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 12 minutes, an hour. I don't even know how long I was down there, but I wake up on the bathroom floor, and I fell straight forward with no reserve whatsoever. I was passed out, so I just fell straight, boom, and they had that bullnose tile in the bathroom, and I whacked it right on my head. So I got a laceration on my head. I'm bleeding down into my eye, and I felt a little bit better, just a touch. And then I started moving my head around. I get up and I observe my wound, and I look at myself, and I'm standing there. I got 1 sock on. I got no pants on, no underwear. I got a dress shirt on, a tie. My hair's all whacked out, and blood running down my face. And I say, I don't want to die like this. And it really is. It's a very, very haunting, bad feeling. And so I crawl on my hands and knees back to the bed. I was staying by myself, and I had a king room.
So what time did you go on?
Nice. Yeah, second set, Lou. Second set. Anyway, so I literally had the feeling to myself. I go, I could die here tonight, and I literally made peace with my Creator.
Yeah.
I go, I could die here tonight, and if I do, forgive me of all my shortcomings, forgive me of whatever I have done. But then I turned, I saw myself in the mirror. I go, but you know what? You better dress a little better so when they carry you out, you don't look like crazy Guggenheim. So there's a vague pull for you. Anyway. so I put my sweatpants on, and I think I had my Ren and Stimpy T-shirt, which I slept in at the time, and
A blood-covered Red and
a
Stimpy.
blood-covered Ren and Stimpy T-shirt and sweatpants.
That's so perfect.
And I made it to the bed, and I just let myself down. And I really do love meditation, but this night was a very, very large meditation session, and I finally fell asleep. I woke up the next morning, or late morning. They were knocking on the door to clean the room. But oh boy, I was soft. I was soft for a couple of days. So yeah, how more stoned can you get? A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Well,
But anyway, to get back to seeing things from the balcony, the reason that I feel as though that's important, because you don't want to be down there for the day by day, for the blow by blow of all these little arguments. And in the last couple of weeks, I've been one of these people that, like, especially on my Facebook feed, I've just let people have their way, talk about what they want to talk about. I don't care if it's on my page. It's just a point of view, But some of it has become so acidic, I've actually blocked a couple people, and I've actually unfriended a couple of people. They just won't calm down with it.
yeah, well, there's a Tao lesson in that,
What's the Tao lesson,
Tao
Mike?
lesson is that you get a chance to weed your garden. You don't want to expose yourself to toxic energies.
Yeah.
Toxic people, toxic energies, negative thoughts, negative energies. It all screws you up, and you got a choice to engage in it and be toxified or not, and walk away from it.
Yeah.
You can be the guy waking up on the floor with the marks of a bullnose tile in your forehead, or you can be like somebody else.
Yeah.
So, and that's energies. The energy thing is real, and there are people that'll sap your energy, and there are people that will replenish it.
Yes.
And do it naturally, just like you do to other people. So, be mindful of that. You don't need people in your life that are so negative that you have to think about their negativity before you have to deal with them.
Yes, that's true.
Let them find their own way.
Yep.
They don't need to be the weed in your garden. Well, a weed. Everybody likes to grow weed, but it's just something else. You ever think that the reason that they allow us, I'm going to say that, I still have weed from the 70s still hanging out.
Really?
Oh, fine, yeah. I'm not a big smoker, but
The seeds, or you still got a sack from then?
I got pot from the 70s laying around here someplace,
Wow.
Yeah, no kidding. So
Is there a vintage pot market available?
There's a vintage pot, yeah. It's like Scott said that day. It was like, hey, this is good old school pot. It was like, wow, okay. But you ever think that now that they've legalized it, instead of in the 60s and 70s when we were getting high, you get high, and then you became politically active. You started to ask questions, and you started to become motivated. I mean,
yes.
Even if it was a motivation that ended in getting a real job at some point in time. But today, the kind of pot they put out there is a complete mind number.
Yeah.
A mind number. And, now that it's legal, you ever think about, why, number one, why have they legalized it? Number two, why is the pot that you get, from a legalized, pot dispensary like 20 times, more potent than the pot you used to buy, back in the 60s and 70s?
It's a very valid point.
Yeah.
Very valid. Now, I know there is a...
The other thing is the THC is a DMT, a DMT modifier. You can't, your DMT production is retarded when you're under the influence of THC. So
THC squashes your DMT.
Yes, it does.
THC squashes your DMT.
Right. Yep.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah, if you ever want to get sober up for an ayahuasca experience or mushroom, smoke pot. That'll clear your head right out of DMT. But the thing is ayahuasca and psilocybin mushrooms are brain organizers, and they're DMT. DMT is their active ingredient, but you don't need it. You can produce your own DMT through meditation and whatnot. But DMT is a brain organizer. Marijuana, THC, is a brain disorganizer.
Ah, yeah.
So
I know a little bit about that. But Well, again, Suzette and I were talking the other day. The 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 chemical experience, either through mushrooms or DMT or whatever, is like it's like the short exit. You can get right there into your
Yeah, it's a brain hack.
a brain hack, right? Great word, great word. When you can actually get to the same place through a series of meditations.
Yeah, and you can get even further if you go into the 5-day Taoist black room meditation, bringing your food in with no light for 5 days, and then see how your DMT levels are.
All right, now kind of tune everybody up to what that is. This is we were talking about this before.
Yeah, as part of the steps you have to take to be a true Taoist master in the old school, is that what they would do is they would give you your food and water, and they would put you in a room, climate controlled, comfortable. They weren't trying to kill you or anything, but it would be completely dark, and you would have to exist in there.
No
for
light
5 days.
whatsoever.
No light whatsoever.
Okay, you're in complete darkness.
Complete darkness, and then
And for how long?
5 days.
5 days.
Yeah, they say after the first 3 days, time, you can kind of measure time going by, and then after day number 3, then your mind, your brain, your pineal gland starts to produce so much DMT that you're in a constant state of hallucinatory godness, and
Wow.
it's like a wellspring of DMT coming out, and you got these outer body experiences and all the rest of this kind of stuff. And then when you come back from that, you understand that through meditation you can trigger the DMT responses and allow it to organize your brain in the micro doses that it's supposed to get as you go along. Of course, Johns Hopkins is doing research in this, and it's all good stuff, and all what they found is very positive, but they don't overdose anybody. Nor do I think the medical science is ready to say, okay, we're going to take you and put you in a room for 5 days, 3 days of blackness until you get better. I don't think that's on the horizon yet, but it may be someday.
Well, right. And to go all the way back to what we were saying in the beginning of the show, to me, that sounds like something that would be embracing the oneness. Okay?
Yeah.
Because we're constantly drawn to the light, told about the light, go to the light, absorb the light, love the light, stare at the light, gaze at the light. But on the other side of everything else is the other side. So if you were in this total darkness, now that's got to be something, Mike, that you would have to work up to, wouldn't it? That's something you just can't just walk off the street.
This is not your first year, Taoist meditation class.
Not your Taoist weekend.
That's right. No, you've got to be into it all the way by then.
So you know what though? But that completely makes sense, and it does support our argument that you can get to all these drug-induced places very naturally. You can get there through the power of your own mind. We don't advocate anything like that. We're just talking of our past experiences. And Mike and I have long admitted our faults. And they make funny little stories. And a lot of people relate to them because they made the same mistakes. Because we were all under the same level of coercion. We were all in the same light signals were coming from the blinking box. We were staring into the same scrying mirror, and that's where we got our information from. So, and like I said, we just share these stories as humorous. If you're wasted, it's funny, I guess. The fact that through some disciplines, some dietary corrections, some exercise corrections, you can get to all these incredible places in your mind if you put your mind to it. If you make sure that all these actions that you're taking are keeping you on that path of this internal clarity that we all seek. So how far along in your Taoist training would you be before you got the 5 dark days?
Oh, probably at least a few years in.
A few years in?
But the thing, yeah, I haven't had the benefit of having the tutelage of a live master,
Right.
but so I can't tell you exactly when. But
Because you're becoming a live master, that's why.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just
true.
still a student. But I got finished, and I'll disseminate it tonight or tomorrow on the Tao chapter, the Wahoo Ching chapter 55 and
55.
55 and 56.
Yeah.
Which one was the introduction, and in 56 I go to the masters recommend, and through the Wahoo Ching, areas of Chinese art, science, holistic medicine that need to be studied. Among them is Qigong.
Qigong?
Qigong, yeah, and Feng Shui, and Yang Zheng. Some of the things that we've heard of. So these aren't, for those who have experienced or read or have contact with, Asian, philosophy, religions, and those sort of things, it's not all new. But, I'll post it, and it's a good read, because what I do is I spend a lot of time writing the chapter and introducing people to the kind of things they might want to get interested in. And what they teach is that know them all, but study in depth the things that really speak to you.
Yes.
Okay, so it's like knowing the Tao is like knowing a tree. You don't know a tree by just studying one of the branches. You don't know the tree by studying a root or a leaf. You need to study the entire tree to understand what the entire tree is.
Yes.
So these esoteric art sciences are part of the study of the tree, so you get the bigger picture. So.
Wow. Yeah, it makes sense. I always love that analogy of the 7 blind men trying to describe an elephant. One guy's got the trunk, he thinks it's like a tree. Another guy's got the leg, he thinks it's like a stump. Another guy's got the tail, he thinks it's like a whip. Another one's got the ear, he thinks it's like a sail. And that, to be honest with you, that's a very prolific way to describe our media sources these days. If you're just trying to describe the trunk or the tail or whatever it is, there's only going to be certain things that you know about it, and you're limited into all the other incredible parts, all the other important parts.
Yeah, it's like seeing an alligator, at night. You see these 2 eyes above the water, and it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. 2 eyes above the water. Let's go see what that's all about. Well, it's the same thing with the media. All you see are the 2 eyes above the water. Everything else is opaque. You can't see it, and it's there nonetheless. So just because they're showing you their 2 eyes doesn't mean there's a gigantic dragon attached to them.
Yeah, it could just be 2 lights on a stick.
Yeah, but if there are a whole bunch of them floating around in the same water, CBS, NBC, CNN, you know that's not water worth going into. So, which is why I don't watch TV.
Yeah, I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. The commercial aspect of conventional television, I like to watch Jeopardy every once in a while. Jeopardy's kind of fun. When I was tuned up, man, I was like a 70% Jeopardy guy, which of course would have put me in 3rd place every day.
That was funny. Did you see McDonald's Jeopardy thing? Oh, I have to send it to you. He died this week, right?
And Norm Macdonald, yes.
Yeah, so he's got this great Jeopardy thing where he's on there with somebody who's imitating Sean Connery. And,
yes.
And he's playing what's his name?
Alex Trebek.
Well, no, Trebek is what's his name? The big elf guy. You know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But he's playing
Farrell. Will Farrell.
Will Farrell. But he's playing the Smokey and the Bandit guy. Burt Reynolds.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's brilliant.
It was one of the best comedy sketches
It's brilliant.
I've ever seen.
It's brilliant. Yes.
Yeah.
And while we're here, let's just take this little comma in the imho.love show. Yesterday, comedic genius Norm Macdonald passed away due to his cancer sickness.
He struggled for 10 years with it. I didn't even know.
I knew but then it got downplayed, and it was like, how's he doing? But I could tell when I would see him on various shows that he was, that cancer treatment wears on you.
Losing his hair.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen it, back in 2017, he did a Netflix special called Hitler's Dog, Gossip, and Other Trickery, which is one of the most brilliant stand-up performances that I've ever seen. It's spot on, and see, the thing that I admired most about Norm is he never pandered to the audience. You either got him or you didn't, and he didn't really, it wasn't a major concern either way if you didn't. He did what he believed was funny, and he really was the consummate comedic artist. I like writing my own stuff. I like writing a funny line, all that stuff. But I do pander to the audience. I make sure I'm being liked and embraced because at my level, performing in clubs and country clubs and all that stuff, I'm a hired gun. I'm there to make people laugh and have them all get my jokes. And not be, the hippest guy in the room. Although I can occasionally pull that off. But for the work that I do, for the money that I earn, I do have to pander a little bit. It's just in there. And not entirely proud of it, but
hey, you gotta play to your audience.
Yes.
I mean, McDonald. What was funny about him was that he would hit a punchline or something, and if nobody got it, the comedy was in the way he responded to nobody getting it. It was like, which basically said in a very polite Canadian way, "I'm really sorry for you people. It was funny. I'm too sad that you didn't get this, but I'm just going to chuckle and move on because it's funny to me that you're not getting this." So, yeah, he was wonderful.
Yeah, he was a great guy, and he will be sorely missed. But I was talking that Scott Bird, one of my comic buddies, I go, he's gone, and we're gonna miss his creativity that he would have had in his later years. He was only 61.
Yeah.
And the comedy that was inside of his head had to be, the stuff that was coming would have been tremendous. But due to the wonder of electronics, everything he's ever done is available on video of some sort. And he's got a ton of content out there. And if you never got into him, if you didn't like him at Saturday Night, I think he was the best Saturday Night Live news update guy. Him and Chevy Chase were just about the same as far as quality goes. But I think Norm wrote a little better stuff. He was a little sharper than Chevy Chase was in that regard. So, farewell, Norm Macdonald. Here's a couple comedians that really did love you, and we respect everything you did. And
as I might say, as I heard you say, why Norm Macdonald and why not Jim Carrey?
I like Jim Carrey though. Why not Andy Dick?
Yeah, okay, better one.
Can I swap the Andy Dick for a Jim Carrey?
Carrey, you've been put on reprieve.
Yeah. That is one. I don't know who picked him to do whatever.
Yeah, he's the comedian on the left.
Is he?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But wow, he's just he's creepy. He's creepy is what it is. Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. And my friend Steve Lally sent me a beautiful quote today. He goes, "Lou, you're the Norm Macdonald of the Tampa Bay area." And I was so flattered. And I do have a storyteller style about me at times when I'm in between pandering. So
that's funny.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to the imho.love show. I'm Lou Angelwolf. That's Mike Murburg. We've been trying to help you look at what everything that's going on. You can almost guess how people are going to respond. This whole California Newsom, Larry Elder thing, what a farce. What a farce from the very beginning. Just to flex the federal muscle. the statewide muscle. It's wow.
Well, it's proof that the democratic machinery in California governs the state completely,
Oh yeah,
and 50% of the people can't even name, the president that Washington D.C. was named after.
wow.
I mean,
Ha!
or name their own governor.
Yeah.
This whole political system has managed to exist without their cognition, at least for the most part, and without any true knowledge of history. So what we're seeing is, the control of the lemmings.
Yep. Yeah, you're exactly right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're saying good night, but I also want to remind those of you in the Tampa Bay area, starting tomorrow night, September 16th, at the new Side Splitters up in Wesley Chapel. It's in the mall area, that big entertainment complex out there. It's the new Side Splitters in Wesley Chapel. Go to sidesplitterscomedy.com. I'm playing with my friend Frankie Paul. Frankie's got top billing on this one. I'm his support act. But if you want to come out to the show, we start Thursday through Sunday. Go to when you go to check out, when you buy your tickets online, punch in LOU50, LOU 50, okay, and you'll get half off or 2 for 1, however you want to look at it. Buy one, get one. No, yeah, it is buy one, get one. Half off, however you want to do it. LOU50 in your code line there. Frankie Paul, fantastic comedian, wonderful human being. He and I get to mix it up. I don't know who the opening act is, but I'm in the middle, and Frankie is tuning up his violin in the flanks as I weave my web. So thank you, everybody that's already coming out. You guys are awesome. Thanks for buying advance tickets. Please like, share, subscribe to the imho.love show. We don't care what you do with this. This show isn't monetized. It's not even edited. This is all raw footage, and Mike and I we pick a topic and riff from there. So thank you. And if we get a little rambly at times, it's our nature. So thank you for tuning in. Mike, say goodnight to the people.
Good night. Thanks for tuning in.
Oh, here we go. And nice, sticky shorts. I got jorts on, man. Look at these jorts. Jean shorts.
Oh, man. It's the worst thing to wear in this kind of weather.
They're pretty heavy.
Yeah.
I hear people make fun of my jorts. What are you wearing, jorts?
Yeah, enjoy the heat rash,
Hey,
dude.
there's Mark Cottingham, Daniel Miller. Thank you guys. 12 of you watching right now. Love you all so much. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Nanette. Thank you, Suzette. Thank you. And who's that? My brother? Wow, my brother's watching. Good night, everybody.